Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing vibes to health with Health Vibes. Health Vibes. Each and every Wednesday from 10 to 11:30 a.m. with your hosts Trudy Kristen and co-hosts pharmacists Jacinta Fagan and Leona Jeremiah. Education, information, and a bit of humor. And not forgetting lots of vibes. Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing health and vibes together with Health Vibes. So be sure to tune in each and every Wednesday on Q95 from 10 to 11:30 a.m. Jolly's Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Health Vibes, Jolly's Health Vibes. Of course, it's a pleasure to be on with you this Wednesday, as we are every Wednesday on the big station Q95 FM. This is Trudy, and in studio this morning with me is Jacinta. Jacinta, good morning.
Good morning to you and good morning to our listeners. How are you doing this morning?
Good.
Very good.
It is a new year and already a very busy year.
Yes.
So a lot going on. But as usual, grateful for life and the ability to be here
Exactly.
in this new year.
Yes, we have much to be thankful for, be grateful for. And last week, Saturday, was, the opening of our carnival season with the opening parade, so there was lots of excitement in the streets of Roseville last Saturday. And I'm sure many of us are carnival lovers, like myself. And so we're looking forward to the many events for the season.
Yes, it is carnival season, and the excitement is on. Jacinta, did you go to the opening parade?
I viewed it. I wasn't able to stay. I wasn't feeling very well, but I viewed most of it.
You viewed, okay.
Yes.
So as a past Miss Dominica, do you miss being in the parade as you would have been the year of your pageant?
I won't say I miss it, but I definitely reflected on my time when I was in the parade. I remember what I wore, how it went, where we started, where we ended. And so I'm sure for the lovely ladies going up, and not just for Miss Dominica, for all the different pageants, I'm sure it would have been an exciting time to be all dolled up and have their fans, their supporters, their sponsors, their family members come out and see them in their glory. And I'm sure they are looking forward to the preparation and the nights of the pageant.
Yes,
so best of luck to everyone.
Definitely. Miss Dominica contestants won parade. Of course, Miss DSC Match Jamboree contestants, our contestants were out. The Carnival Princess contestants, the Miss Teen contestants as well. So it was a nice display of pageantry. And of course, the Junior Monarch contestants, their participants were also on parade, as well as a lot of other youth groups and a lot of other uniform groups, business places as well. So it was a very
bands.
It was a very lengthy parade. But just on the topic of carnival, carnival is coming, and with carnival is typically flu. The flu season is upon us already, though. I have understood that there is already a circulating flu virus that people are complaining about. I did hear this morning on Matt's show that in Barbados there's an outbreak of respiratory illness, and it seems to be rather severe. Good morning to Dr. Lafo. I heard he was on discussing that. But in Dominica as well, I've heard of complaints of there being a very troublesome virus. I've heard people call it Maduro. I don't know what the name will be confirmed as, but I've heard the Maduro term used.
And well, last week I was out of work for a day because I was down with the flu. So it is very common right now, and many other individuals are suffering from flu symptoms. But like I always say, trying to strengthen your immune system as much as possible, trying not to compromise it with very unhealthy food choices or lifestyle habits, and of course practicing proper hygiene as well.
Yes, particularly of course hand hygiene. So as we go into the festive season. Shows have begun. There will be Calypso. Stardom Tent is opening this evening.
Yes,
Calypso quarterfinals on the weekend. People will be congregating. It is so important to practice proper hand hygiene. So I just want to, caution our listeners that to prevent yourself from, getting the flu or respiratory illness, hand hygiene is important. So your hand sanitizer, walk with that, wash your hands, because you'll be touching things, touching people, and that's how we can spread, touching things and then touching our nose, our mouth. I
was just about to say that.
So walk with your hand sanitizer.
And even so, those who already have the flu, ensure that you wear your masks as well. You want to protect your loved ones, your co-workers, your, other people that you associate with, just being a bit considerate. And of course, you as well, practicing proper hygiene. To the most part,
yes. So as we go into this festive season, just a little guidance. Of course, you can get, your necessities at Jolly's Pharmacy. So if you want to grab your hand sanitizer, there's another cute product that I bought once. It's like a soap suds, like little soap packet thing, and it's very thin, very thin little pessaries, and once you add some water, you can wash your hands. Yes. So make sure to pick up your items to help you with securing yourself, and of course, as Jacinta said, boosting your immune system is also important. So the nutrition, your choices here over the season will determine.
Making sure you have your vitamin C, your D, your E, your omega-3. We have everything in one in multivitamins. And of course, ensuring that, you take what you can and properly and on time and exercising, the whole list of it. So we have everything at Jolly's Pharmacy. And if you do have the flu, we have products as well to help you to recover as quickly as possible.
I also saw parents admonishing other parents that if your child has the flu, keep them at home to stop the spread of the virus. So, of course, I know childcare is difficult. A lot of people don't have options if the child is sick, But that is also something to consider, that rapid spread of viruses amongst the little ones.
Of course.
Particularly in the school system. So, carnival season. But before we even talk about carnival, let's ask you to protect yourself against the flu and other respiratory illnesses, right? So we are going to take a break. We have a guest in studio. We have a very interesting topic lined up. Of course, last week we asked you, the listeners, what would you like to hear on Health Vibes in 2026? We got quite a few suggestions, and actually we're going to bring one of those suggestions to you in this show this morning. So you need to stay tuned. And of course, if you're listening, I see our online people are popping up. Julie, good morning. Hazelan, good morning. Miss Lowe, good morning to you. Ivinia, good morning. If you're listening and this is a program you want to tell people about, because we're definitely going to be discussing something that people want to hear. So if you're on radio, tell somebody to put on Q95 and take a listen to Health Vibes this morning. We're going to take a quick break and we will be right back.
Introducing Jolly's Pharmacy, brand new website, www.jollies.gm. It's your time to jump the line. Shop now at jollies.gm and have your items delivered in the comfort of your office. No more standing in line. No need to use your lunch hour to shop. Hassle-free shopping, safe and secure. Jollies.gm features rush delivery, 1 hour. In-store pickup, regular delivery, 5 p.m. Cut-off time, 4 p.m. It's your time to jump the line. www.jollies.gm. Jollies Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing vibes to health with Health Vibes. Health Vibes. Each and every Wednesday from 10 to 11:30 a.m. with your hosts, Trudy Kristen, and co-hosts, pharmacists Jacinta Fagan and Leona Jeremiah. Education, information, and a bit of humor. And not forgetting lots of vibes. Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing health and vibes together with Health Vibes. So be sure to tune in each and every Wednesday on Q95 from 10 to 11:30 a.m. Jolly's Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare. Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing vibes to health with Health Vibes. Health Vibes, each and every Wednesday from 10 to 11:30 a.m. with your hosts Trudy Kristen and co-hosts pharmacists Jacinta Fagan and Leona Jeremiah. Education, information, and a bit of humor, and not forgetting lots of vibes. Paul's Pharmacy is bringing health and vibes together with Health Vibes. So be sure to tune in each and every Wednesday on Q95 from 10 to 11:30 a.m. Charlie's Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
Up this morning feeling risky. I had the intentions of calling sick, but I end up in Jolly's Pharmacy. And don't think that she Jolly's fix up my immune system. Me feeling fit and strong now. I'm ready to work and pick on any mission. If you see me again, Jolly's Pharmacy is number one. Jolly's for you. We cater for everyone. Jolly's for you. It's up the immune system. Jolly's for you. Yo, Dominic, it's about Father Box. Whenever I'm in town and I'm feeling down, I head to Jolly's Pharmacy. They boost me up real quick. Jolly's Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare. Introducing Jolly's Pharmacy, brand new website, www.jollies.gm. It's your time to jump the line. Shop now at jollies.gm and have your items delivered in the comfort of your office. No more standing in line. No need to use your lunch hour to shop. Hassle-free shopping, safe and secure. Jollies.gm features rush delivery, 1 hour. In-store pickup, regular delivery, 5 p.m. Cut-off time, 4 p.m. It's your time to jump the line. Visit us at www.jollies.gm. Jollies Pharmacy, leading the way in healthcare.
So welcome back. If you are now tuning in, you are listening to Health Vibes from Jolly's Pharmacy. And before we took the break, we said that we have a very special guest with us this morning. And today's program will be focused on nutrition and weight loss. And in studio with us is none other than Mrs. Jacqueline Lancaster Prevost, a name very well known to many Dominicans. And so, Mrs. Prevost, good morning to you and welcome to Health Vibes.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Good morning, Trudy, too. I'm fine. Thank you.
Nice.
Yes, Mrs. Prevost, I've been wanting to have you on the show for a long time. I must confess, because the nutrition topic always comes up. Like, people always ask, and as I said last week when we were doing this, getting a feel from our listeners what they want to talk about in 2026. The whole concept of food and eating healthily, that keeps coming up. I know personally in a new year that a lot of people have certain goals to eat better, to ensure that they take care of their health as it relates to proper eating.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have goals as well as losing some weight. That is a very common thing. So I felt that we could talk about that in this program and get it from the person who knows a lot about it, which is you. So I want to start. My first question to you: your work in nutrition. What has that been like? I know you had a very long career. What has that been like? What is the most challenging aspect of maybe proper nutrition, bringing that to people or helping people in that regard?
The most challenging thing is, it's challenging, but it's a fact that people take a lot of time to change.
Okay.
So you talk and you talk and you talk, but you know that person may never change, or that person may change. But I've always looked at it like I always tell people, changing your way of eating, it's like going into a new religion. If you go into a new religion, whether you were Catholic, you went that way, or you came into the Catholic Church, you have a lot to learn.
Oh, yes,
and it
of course.
takes time. And sometimes you just feel, I want to learn again. So the thing about counseling about food and nutrition, it's just patience and don't look for a big reward. You're not going to get that once in a while. You're going to get that.
Well, I can imagine, because similarly with us at the pharmacy, when we counsel our patients on proper eating and changing on or reducing what they're used to, I think there's fear that they will no longer be able to love as much, of certain food groups, and just the adjustment of it and changing and subtracting some of the food items is a bit scary, and change can be, fearsome as well. So many times we try to tell them, okay, the benefits of the change and the adjustments and what you will benefit from if you go down this healthier route. And I'm sure you also list the number of reasons why there is a need to change, because many patients, if they do not see the importance of that change, they say, okay, I have time. But the numbers show that there is an urgency to make that adjustment now. And sometimes we may have the belief that we have to make this big change overnight, but it's a process. So bit by bit, to say, okay, so instead of a whole mastiff, let's go to half, or instead of whole or white bread, then let's go to whole wheat. So it's small changes bit by bit, and I'm sure you are also experiencing in that way, that breaking down the different types of changes that are necessary will be easier to adjust to or to adapt to.
Yeah, but people, just like an alcoholic, unless an alcoholic agrees that he or she is alcoholic, they're not going to change. And that's the same thing with changing our people eating patterns. But and another thing that I got from Dr. Leonard Konich, Tricia, I always like to say, food is status. No matter how you put it, no matter in what economic group, food is status. And because of that, you're going to get a lot of back and forth, because food is status. Even in the poorest group, there's the poorest of the poor, there's one person who's on top of the food still, so food is status.
Let's talk a bit about, of course, as it relates to nutrition, as it relates to just lifestyle in general. There are so many different things to determine what is correct for you. It's not a one size fits all. Age, your activity level, and so on and so forth. So let's go maybe bit by bit into some things that, if somebody's saying, I want to eat healthier, I want to eat healthier, somebody has recognized that possibly, as Jacinta mentioned, some of their biomedical data, their blood pressure is high, their blood glucose is trending high, and they've said to themselves, I want to eat better. Somebody that's, let's say, young adolescents, early 20s, just working. What are some of the eat better aspects for somebody in that category to start to think of?
Well, the first thing I usually tell people, like I have somebody to counsel tomorrow, and the first thing I tell people, you want counseling, bring your exercise book. Okay. That's the first thing, because otherwise you're not listening. You listen in, but you're not writing, keeping on any notes. As soon as you leave me,
you may
then
forget.
Goes back
in
to
one
normal.
ear.
So I ask people to bring and I also ask them to do like a 24-hour recall that I can see and I always tell them, don't take Sunday, because traditionally we eat so many things on a Sunday. So I always, even when I used to teach, I tell the nurses, sometimes don't even take Monday, because Monday is what you ate on Sunday.
Very true.
Ask the person what you ate on Tuesday. And I always tell people, don't tell lies. Just tell me what you ate. If on Tuesday morning you got up and you had some sauce remaining from Sunday, and you decided to eat your whole bowl of sauce, tell me. Because that's the way you eat. So you must I do a 24-hour recall.
Okay.
Then I also ask people their likes and dislikes. Okay. Because it doesn't make sense. Like you just said, yes, I may want somebody to eat whole wheat bread. But if for some reason the person just don't like whole wheat bread, Why am I going to tell them? They will say yes in front of me. They're not going to do it behind my back.
Yes,
And I always want people to do what I tell you to do. Please do it behind my back, because I'm not living with you.
Right.
So if you know you cannot do it, but then you say, Mrs. Pringle, you see this whole, people have told me that, you see this whole wheat bread thing. I know what they say, but I cannot eat it. So let's see what we can do with the white bread.
So that this calls for honesty and transparency.
Yes. So those are the so when we get that base, so we honest, you know, I like to share, so we can share experiences with them. I think people love to know that you telling them something, but maybe you have gone through, probably not the exact thing, but something like that, you know, and people love those things. I always say, like, when my children were small, people used to tell me about breastfeeding, and I said, of course, I breastfed on my children because I told people to breastfeed their children. Now I have mine, I have to do it.
Right.
You know, so people love that kind of thing.
Relatability.
Right.
Yes.
And not only with your personal experience, but with other people that you have counseled. So it makes them feel like they're not alone, that they can do it. It's a little encouragement to them to try harder.
Because it's difficult for somebody maybe 25 in their 30s, working, not making too much money, and so it's difficult probably to eat as they would want to eat. They know what to eat, but can they eat what they want to eat?
And what about in that age group too, that I started with the aspect of popularity, what's popular and what's trendy and what everybody else is. So I would figure somebody younger is likely to be socializing and going to these, certain events, certain things, and people are eating certain ways. That is just how people, what they see. So it might be a bit challenging to kind of go away from, even in terms of drinking alcohol too. So, people partying, and you've tried to make some better choices, but your environment is doing differently.
So one of the things you can do is, let's take the alcohol. I always tell people, okay, if you're going out and you want to have alcohol, when you have your first drink, you know how much you had, probably get water and put in your glass and keep your hand around it, and you had one drink and you had 2 drinks of water. So that will keep you, and after a while you probably will know how to hold your glass, so only your close friends will know you already have water. That's the way. And for the food, if you know you're going to a party and they're going to have lots of things that day, try to see what you are eating that day, or even the day before.
Right.
You know that you're going, you have a VIP ticket to go, and you know they're going to have all those kind of things. Say, okay, the show is on Wednesday, maybe Monday and Tuesday, I'm really going to watch what I eat. So when I get there, because nobody likes somebody partying with them to say, I don't like that, I'm not eating that. By that time you want to run from, I was young too. By that time, you want to run from that person.
It's true.
Yes, it's very true. Yeah.
So just watch what you do at your home, and when you go, you will eat. Okay, if everybody's having 10 sandwiches, you don't have to take 10. You can go 6, you can go 4, but you're having the sandwiches.
Right. So you make preparations before events where you might eat a little out of the way than your regular eating habits, but I think it makes you conscious a bit more as to what exactly you may foresee, or what you may take in on those particular days. But at the same time, for the previous days, or if you generally eat well, then on that particular day, then you don't feel as guilty, but at the same time you're not depriving yourself of indulging so much.
Just don't feel guilty. Because sometimes when we feel guilty about anything, we do the wrong thing. You don't think, because you're thinking guilty. Instead of thinking, how can I rectify that problem, you're just thinking guilty, and you don't feel guilty. Even when people come to me and they chubby or obese, so sometimes they underweight, don't feel guilty. Let's just see what we can do. You may be able to put on weight, or probably just a person, your metabolic rate is fast and you can put on weight.
Yes.
Or you may be able to lose weight, or probably you just can't. So if you can't, I always tell people, well, maintain. whatever you
Right.
are, maintain. It's not about some people tend to look down on people if they're too thin or if they're too obese, but I don't think we should do that, because
No.
obesity is also genetic, so naturally, if my mom and my dad were fat people, chances are I will be chubby or I will be fat, but if one is thin and one is fat, okay, I'm in between. And if both are thin, then it's difficult. Like for me, when people see me and they say, "But comes you so," I say, "Well, my both parents were just like me." So it's difficult, but it's not a matter of putting down. But I have family members who are obese
Yeah.
too, so it's really looking at what you eat, or you are accepting yourself. I had two grand aunts, and one was a slim person like me. The other one was like Trudy. So and they came from the same parents. They came from the same parents. So it's really not a matter of putting down people, it's trying to help them to see what we can do.
Well, there's always this concern.
I see someone has been trying to call the program. Let's take a call. Caller, good morning.
Hi. Good morning. This is Mali number 1007 Boom Datus. I just want to tell you all ladies, my queen and Miss Christian and your guest, Miss Jacqueline, Mrs. Jacqueline Lancaster, Prevost. That's my little friend. I don't know if she can remember me. Jacqueline.
Marlene, please don't do that to me on air. Of course, I can remember Marlene. Why you want to mistress me?
Yeah, my darling. What I want to say to you all are doing a fantastic job. Give you all flowers when all you are alive. When all you die, that is the time people want to give all you flowers. So I want to say season greetings to you all. I wish all you all the best for 2026, my sisters, and not forgetting my Dr. Jeremiah. She take good care of me. She had a lot of patience with me. My sisters, they tell you twice a child, once a man, and she had a lot of patience with me, my brother. So hats off to you all. Have a splendid day, a splendid year. Keep up the good work, and Jolly Pharmacy on Matt. I'll be calling for you all, workers of the year for 2025. Jolly should have your pictures, workers of the year. And there's a thing I want to say. When you all come back on the program, my sister, keep on preaching about that terrible flu, because you have some people that they don't walk it for tissue, they don't walk it for rag, they just cough in their sleeve and whatever it is. There was a gentleman who come in a supermarket coughing. So I said, sir, you could have a little tissue or thing. The man sat cursing here to leave the supermarket and go, and then carnival around the corner. So, darling, please, I beg on you, educate the people and them for that wicked virus flu. And they sing, I yourself are inside. I don't even want people to hug me up or shake my hand. The same sneeze they're sneezing in their hand. Some wicked people, they want to shake your hand. Well, keep up the good work. May God bless all you, rich and rich for the star. Never give up. I love you all. I love you. And I'll be tonguing Mr. Jollyhead. People like Andy, when he come on Matt, to give all your award, and I hope they give all you a big Christmas. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Valentine's Day, Happy birthday, Happy Easter. Long live the crew. God bless you all. Oh my God. Boom.
Thank you. And to you, wishing you all the best for the year as well. Thanks for all the support.
Yes. Thank you. So we were speaking about of course, the last thing Mrs. Priver you were saying is that, just don't feel guilty if you have something, you have a day or a time that you went off your plan, I guess, as it relates to eating. Don't feel guilty. That's an interesting concept because a lot of us put a lot of pressure on ourselves,
Yes.
Yeah.
because you have
Yes.
something in mind, you've planned, and then something happens and it just goes, off, and you really feel that pressure. I started off by asking about young people and trying to maintain healthy eating. I want to move up the ladder to women in particular that are approaching that middle age, that menopause sort of age where everybody says the metabolic rate starts to slow down. What do you then start thinking about in terms of what you eating? Is what you're eating, is the type of things you're eating and the quantity changing, or does it need to change through the age development? Yes.
And if you go back to your first question about not feeling guilty, I think it's because some of us we set the bar too high when we want to. At the beginning of the year, we set the bar too high, so that's why. But yes, scientifically, we know that as soon as you get to age 35, your metabolic rate begins to slow down. And I always tell people, metabolic rate, just think of it as some invisible wheel that's in your body. When you're growing up, it's fast. But as you get older, it starts to slow down. That's why as you get older, the need for exercise becomes even more because it has to slow down. So when in fact, they say that a teenager and their 36-year-old parent should be eating about, not a teenager, budding teenager, and their 36-year-old parent should be eating the same thing. Whereas in our culture, no, if it's the father and the boy, the father will probably having a whole 3 pieces of chicken and the boy 1 piece of chicken. But that's a good way to gauge it, for parents. So this is one of the things that people can look at. You must start to cut down, especially if you have a weight problem. If you don't have a weight problem, then it doesn't make, but you know what you were eating before. You realize that, I'm not doing, to me, I'm not eating that much, but I'm putting on weight. And you may be just going into menopause or just about there. So you have to tell yourself, let me sit and see what I'm doing. If I used to eat for breakfast, let's just say 3 slices of bread, a cup of oats, egg and cheese, and let me start to cut down. Because definitely the weight is coming. I don't know where it's coming from. Right. So first I have to cut down to see, because it could be some other medical problem why you're putting on the weight. That's what people have to realize too. Yes. It doesn't have to be just food. So you really have to sit and cut down, because that happens. If you were eating a lot before, by the time you get to age 35, watch what you eat. Try to cut down what you eat. Try to watch your salts and your sugars and your sugary drinks and those things, because that is usually the time that people put on weight. I got a clear example of that when I was watching something on video this week. I watched a young lady who was a wow. And I saw her and I'm saying, wow, what happened? She put on a lot of weight and she was, most beautiful. She's still beautiful, but she has the weight, so people have to be aware of that. You cannot eat what you're eating at 40. You when you're 25, you have to watch yourself. At 40, you cannot eat that much. But people at that time, the difficulty is at that time, you're working. You're more established in your job.
Right.
And you have more money than you had at 25. You may have got married to somebody that even have more money than you. So you all can afford more. And that is where it comes. That's where it comes. People say, okay, we hear people say that, but it's my money. And I'm doing that for myself, So why should you tell me that I should not go buy a tub of ice cream every time I shop, when I remember days when I couldn't eat ice cream?
Right.
Like I remember this guy from the Ministry of Agriculture long ago who said nothing will make him eat green bananas. Nothing. Not in pie, not in soup. Because when he was young, that's all they had. So he just,
I
so,
understand.
and people do those kind of things. Oh yeah, I couldn't eat this, and I could. No, I can. No, I have a good job.
Right.
Let me just eat. But there's lots of things you can do with the money from the good job. You can
course.
save. You don't have to spend all on food. Does it
Right.
make sense?
I can certainly relate, because I remember many years ago when early 20s, my dad used to call me mosquito because I was very slim. And then as the years came by, I realized, okay, my pants are getting a bit tighter. I'm putting on a little. And so I saw the need, like you rightfully said, to do an adjustment. And thankfully, I mean, my dad, he was also very active. Used to go jogging every other morning. And so I was fortunate enough to have that influence from him and my brother as well. So I saw the importance of physical activity from a very young age. And because of our field as well, we also knew that we had to eat healthily. And so the adjustments came as I got older and as I gained more knowledge and, increased my wisdom in certain food groups. It caused me to do that shift. But again, you have to want to reach a certain level or maintain a certain health status to be able to, make those different changes and keep at it, not be in denial and not depriving yourself of, like I said, certain foods that you love, but also realizing that your body changes, your metabolic rate changes or slows down. And so if you want to really keep up that physical health and of course mental indirectly, then you have to really be conscious of what you're doing.
And you said something that's very important. Support. You had the support.
Yes, I did.
And sometimes, okay, we may think the support is at our home, but the support is not necessarily at our home. It may be a friend who lives in the next village.
Yes.
It could even be a friend nowadays. It could even be a friend from overseas.
Of course.
But to maintain or even to lose weight, you have to have that support. Even when I counsel people, when I tell people, bring the cook, whoever is the cook at your home, because that's the person. But even though I talk to you and the cook is saying,
and still cooking the same thing.
So because to lose weight, you really have to have support. You really have to have support, So that's what you had. At least you had support for the exercising, and so you need support.
You mentioned the need to cut down as you are getting older and the metabolic rate is slowing down. But the interesting thing is, people often don't have an idea of what is too much in the first place. Or people, when you look at serving sizes across the board, what maybe a nutritionist is telling you is too much is what most people think is normal portion.
Yes.
So when we talk about cutting down, how do we quantify a cut down? What do we look to do specifically to cut down? What are some tips that somebody can utilize to eat in the proper amount for their aging metabolic rate?
Like I always tell people, like our ground provisions, like our dash, our yam, or tanya, we love those things. But traditionally, we have a chunk. Like when you cut chooks and they cut it, and especially if you were brought up out of town, you tend to have. I remember once giving a lecture. I'll go back, and I was talking about avocado and a slice of avocado, and a man wanted to answer, and this said, "No, let her talk." And I said, "Let him talk." And he said, "Excuse me, ma'am, are you from Roseau?" I said, "Yes." He said, "That's why you're talking about a slice of avocado." Because people have one avocado on their plate for all members of the family. So I tell people, you see your ground provisions. Everybody know a matchbox. At least don't make it wider than the matchbox.
Wow.
And your palm of your hand, the piece of so like your matchbox, and your palm of your hand's not wider than that. And if that's all you have that day, and you that age group 40, you can have 3 slices. Or if you
Okay.
didn't have anything in the morning, maybe you can have 4. But at least look at the width for now. And just like because we usually have a big piece of dashing that the width is like that, So those are some of the changes that you can make, even like things like rice. People like rice or a lot of rice. And I always tell people, put some raw rice in your hand. And if you can do that, that's about a portion. So when you
Like a
cook
feast.
it, yes,
A fistful.
so that's about a portion, even for your cereal. When you're taking your butter or your peanut butter, please don't try to go more than the thumb.
Okay.
Please don't try to.
Okay.
I mean, we will go. It doesn't come automatically, but we will learn. Your fruits and vegetables, unless you're diabetic, if you're fruits, you can have all what you want. Your meats. I mean, that's when people are going to laugh. Your meats, really. 2 chicken wings are sufficient for an adult, but I know for us that's not it. A drumstick is really a whole drumstick, how we call it, chicken leg, what do you call it?
A drumstick, yes.
It's too much. Sometimes some of those things weigh 7 ounces. If they're saying we need to have 3 ounces of protein a day to sustain us, and we have this one drumstick for lunch in our plate, and it's weighing 7 ounces. But remember, in the morning we had an egg, right? And remember, we have bakes and cheese
And tuna.
tuna.
Yes.
So you see, so those are the little things that you have to do. Bread, I tell people 2 slices of bread is sufficient for an adult. If the person is very active, then you can go to 3. Or if you don't have snack, you can take 3 slices. A mastiff, I mean, you shouldn't go more than half a mastiff.
A small mastiff.
A small mastiff.
Right.
You really shouldn't
Yeah,
go more
those are
than half.
different sizes.
Okay, I see we have a caller. Let's take this call. Caller, good morning.
Yes, me again. Sorry about that. Educate me on that. I love a lot of dumpling. It's like soup dumpling with pig snout in it, right? I can eat that for you from Monday to Sunday. From January to December, nothing like macaroni and cheese, chicken salad. When I see them, dumpling, it's as though I can't understand myself. In the morning, educate me again. I will eat 3 eggs for you, 4 Irish potato. I would drink Chocolisto, right? A set of Chocolisto, Nesquik for you. And some people tell me that's not some people. Sometimes my doctor or my nurse will tell me that's not good for you. Another nurse will tell me, don't worry, people and whatever it is. But my sister, I like a lot of chicken and chips by Whitchurch. I stopped eating chips by KFC's by Whitchurch. Chicken and chips. When I buy it, I tell them I want it dry, sec. By Astafan is the same thing. I don't eat things like macaroni and cheese, chicken salad. I hardly eat fish. I don't want to take scent of fish. I like a hot dog. I don't eat sardine, tuna, mackerel. Fish, that thing is not for me. I like chicken and chips. I like Libby sausage. I like hot dog, pig snout, and all this kind of a thing. But when it comes for fish, right, egg, at any time in the night, or 8 o'clock, I tell you, I eat 2 hard-boiled eggs for you. And I would boil Irish potato. I buy a bag of Irish potato, and I will just eat Irish potato for you. Once in a while, I will boil a little macaroni with a little peas and carrot in it and eat it. I like lentils. As for white bread, I love white bread. I stopped drinking the coffee. Imagine I used to be eating my lunch and drink coffee instead of water. I hardly drink water, and I just be thirsty for that. And I always on the move. Darling, I just exercise. I just run. I just do my dance routine. Don't take your hands away from my heart. I believe in angel. These are my songs. I exercising. So my dear, educate my number one. Tell me the dumb way, too much dumb way, because when I go in to the washroom. Sometimes I have to be and this kind of a thing. I don't really want to talk about that.
Yes,
About
Marlene.
that one. I just talk on Peter Prosper about it. So
Yeah.
again, once again, my dear, I am pleased for you. I wish one day I would win the big billion
Yes.
Super 6 money to give all you something, because all you really, really, believe me, educating people.
Yes,
And
Marlene. Thank
it
you.
comes from my heart, within my lips. It's sad when I talk. All myself is good space. All you doing a fantastic job. So take care. Take care. God bless
Thank
all
you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So let us discuss some of the things that we brought up in terms of diet, because some of the things are common. I have about 3 questions from Marlene's daily menu. One is as it relates to protein and quantity of protein, because that's what you were just speaking about. A lot of people will say that if you are trying to lose weight or manage weight, that you amp up the protein that you're eating and you reduce the carbohydrates. So she mentioned, for instance, eating 3 eggs in one sitting. And so I want to ask about protein levels or protein amounts, because you were just on that. I want to ask too about the protein sauce, because she mentioned she doesn't like fish, but she will, she'll have gel kosher, she'll have sausage, she'll have whatever. So the sauce of the protein now. I also want to ask about that. And yes, we do in Dominica culturally have a lot of salted meats that we eat. This is the pig snout, is the smoked meat, is the cod fish, salt fish, is the smoked herring, and everything is salted. So I want to ask about our cultural norms. If you're trying to eat healthy, how do you navigate the culture, and what you may. So culturally, we just like certain things, but what is the health, benefit of those things?
I know there's been a lot has been said about protein, okay, but we must have protein. Okay, the thing about it is that I know there are diets where people say they only eat protein and they're not eating starch. That doesn't work. We need both of them, because what happens is that people who don't eat the starch but they hype up the protein, what is happening is that the protein stops doing what the protein should do, and the protein is doing what the starch would do. And that is why you find a lot of times when people hype up the protein and they don't take enough starch and they don't exercise, then they get flabby. Flabby skin, because the protein is for your muscle, right? But our bodies need energy. If we don't have energy, we cannot go on. And no matter what we think we know, God made us, and we need energy to go. That's why even in the primary schools, they tell children energy foods are go foods. So if you don't take your go food, your body is going to take your grow food. That is the protein, building blocks, and do what the go food is going to do. So because it has to go. So you deprive your body of that protein, So you deprive your body of the protein for what the protein has to do, and the protein goes to do what the starch has to do. Energy. So it's really a balance. You always, no matter what diet you're on, you have to have a balance. The thing is not to overdo it, right? Because basically, culturally, we really eat a lot of starch.
Yes,
we just like that, and our main starch in Dominica, you might think it's not true. What's our main starch?
I would say it's the flour stuff.
Exactly. The bread
and the baked
pasta. That's our main starch. We eat a lot, and then we eat a lot of white flour to make it, So we really have to watch. Is that what I want to be my main starch? We have the ground provisions and you cannot eat. Marlene talk about her dumplings, right? Like she likes a lot of dumplings. But some people are like that, and I tell them, well, if you like a lot of dumplings and you only have dumplings for a meal, maybe medium-sized dumplings. Maybe you can have 4 in your plates, but you can have 10.
And the size as well.
Yes, that's why I said probably a medium-sized dumpling, But as far as the carbohydrates, I always go for our local carbohydrates. I just say, remember, no bigger than this size, wide of a
Matchbox.
matchbox, and no bigger than the palm of your hands.
Free slices.
Yes. Free slices. You can go for the most. You can have a variety. You can do a slice of dashing, a slice of red yam, a slice of white yam. You can go with it. That is what I would advise people to do.
And you mentioned that the diet that excludes starch in favor of protein, the famous keto diet, which a lot of people have. I've tried it myself in the past and been very successful with weight loss, but maintaining. I also want to mention maintaining these sort of extremes are also impossible.
Difficult.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So in doing something like a keto diet where it's said, you eliminate the carbohydrates, even fruits are prohibited, because a lot of fruits have some high sugar. So even fruits, even beans, and so a lot of the things that you just have normally or that are available normally are kind of restricted in a diet plan like that. So it leaves you with almost no option. So the maintaining it is what
It's a difficult part.
And I think that's why a lot of people they start to lose weight, and then they say that's it.
You cannot keep it up.
Keep it up because what you have to do, that's why they say that the diabetic diet is a diet that all of us should be having.
Should be, yes.
All of us should be looking at ourselves, whether we have diabetes or not, because you want to have a diet that you can maintain. You can maintain all the time until you get to 100 years or whatever it is that allotted to you. But you cannot have a diet, like for instance, that by next month your budget cannot support your diet. What's the use of having that? You want to go on a diet, but your budget cannot support the food and it cannot support the gym. And I think that is a big problem for many people. And that is where, remember I told you about this poverty, obesity. That's where it comes in, because a lot of people are obese, but they cannot afford these fancy diets, these fancy foods or fancy fruits. And most of them don't promote our local fruits. It's always
berries,
raspberries, and before we had all the berries, and so what we had in Dominica,
regular fruits.
And people actually tell you, no, I have to eat this berry or this raspberry or this, and those things are expensive. But why don't we stick with the local?
Of course.
Why don't we stick with the local? So those are some of the things that we have to look at when we are going on diet. Can our diet support us financially, or are we just trying to make a show so that I can tell Trudy that I'm on an XX diet? There are some people who can do it, but the majority of people cannot do it. So they just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and not knowing that with all I had, like Marlene, let's go back to Marlene, with all her fries and whatever it is. If that's what you like, and right now, you just must go to wherever she called to have the fries every day. Probably tell yourself, okay, from next week, I'm going to go every other day. Simple things like that. It's simple things that you have to do. Simple changes like that. Just tell yourself that if I'm accustomed of eating 10 dumplings, I'm telling myself from next week, and I'm not saying from tomorrow, because it's difficult to just hear me speak today, and you have to ruminate, And next week I'm going to eat 6 dumplings.
It's so gradual.
Gradual. If you do it gradually, you will change. It's difficult for some people, because people who don't have a lot of money, they have children and so, and they're big, and so, and people tell them to lose weight, and what are they going to do? So I always tell them, just look at your little plate and see what you can sacrifice. See what you can sacrifice. You probably cannot go to the market and buy vegetables, but you can get a pot, and you can probably grow lettuce in your pot. I know ladies like flowers at their home, but I always ask ladies, can you eat that? You know,
Right, yes,
it's nice to have it, but can you eat it? If you can afford it, fine. Go to the market and buy flowers every Saturday.
Right.
But if you cannot afford it, take that money and buy some vegetables or get some seeds and
Plant.
plant in a pot. Even though it's just lettuce you have in the pot, plant in the pot.
And
you have to do little changes for yourself if you don't have a lot of money.
I agree. I mean, many of us have backyard gardens, and it saves us a lot, to know that you can just go in your garden and pick a head of lettuce or carrots or tomatoes or whatever it may be. But many of us have that concern that eating healthily is very expensive. But we have many local produce that is not very expensive, because I try my best every day to have some type of fruit and the vegetables, whether it's breakfast or with lunch. And I can see that you can stretch what you eat. So your entire plate doesn't have to be an entire head of lettuce. You can, distribute very nicely if it's more than one person that you're serving in your family, or if it's just you that you're catering for. So it doesn't have to be an entire tomato that you're using today. So the more varied options that you have, the more you can stretch your options.
Let's take a call. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, ladies. How you doing?
Good morning.
Very interesting program.
Thank you.
Talk about buying vegetables. The only way you can eat proper vegetables, to me, in Dominica, is by growing your own vegetables, because 99% of the vegetables, to me, that has been grown outside here, from tomato, cucumber, lettuce, and the list goes on, have been fertilized. Some people put in fertilizer in the vegetable. Even Miracle Grow, they put in it. Some people will be doing it naturally, but a lot of them put in chemical in it. When you eat it, what does it do for you? Before it reach at your home, I seen my husband bringing lettuce there, and before 2-3 days, the lettuce die. The lettuce have making a whole dirty, swampy water in it. I don't eat those things. I'd rather do without them than to eat them. To destroy at my age, I'll take a vitamin instead. I think the vitamin might help me compared to all them things we have here. Lettuce, tomato. When I grow my tomato, I feeling good eating my tomato. When I grow my lettuce, I feeling good.
Of course.
But when you buy them things, some a lot of the vendors in the market, you're just killing yourself. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
The good thing is to know your vendor.
Yes.
Know who you are buying your fruits, your vegetables, your ground provisions. Know who you're buying. And then going back to something you said, for fruits and vegetables, according to WHO, we need about 5 servings a day, and 5 servings almost like put a serving is like a half a cup. Just to give and take. So a medium banana is a serving,
Right.
and they always say fruits or vegetables. You can have and or. So you may not have all of the vegetables, as you said, that day, but on that day, you're Dominican, so you have 2 bananas. So 2 bananas, you're almost in the 2 servings already.
Right.
Lunchtime, you had some tomato, you're almost in the 3 servings already. So, and then you have lettuce, and you take a whole head because it's cheap, and then you have some cucumbers. So the 5 servings, people figure the 5 servings is a lot. It's just to ensure that you have, but you take them every day, and even with your plate, for those people who are already conscious and they can afford, then you can do your plate with like half the vegetables and the other half of your plate between your protein and your carbohydrates and your peas and beans. And it's always good, no matter how small the vegetable is, eat it first. Because it will pack up your stomach.
Yes.
And so you might not eat some of what you have on your plate. So
That's a good habit. And let's take a call. But just before, another tip I personally have to use is to prepare the vegetable option if I'm cooking first. Because if you don't prepare it first, sometimes you finish cooking and I'm tired, I'm not making the salad. You know what I mean? But if you make the salad first, then it's sure that you're going to have it. For me.
No. For me too.
Yes.
For me too. If any of my children are listening, they will tell you, because to me it's easy to cook the meat and the fish
the meat and the whatever.
And I say, oh boy, I have to make the vegetables. I have to cabbage. I have to wash it properly. I have to grate
so just do
it.
it first.
And another thing that you can do with things like vegetables, and so you can prepare a lot and put it in your fridge.
In the fridge. Yes.
It does stick. You're right.
We have a lot of calls coming. Let's take a call. Caller, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
First of all, I want to wish you all jolly family season greetings to you all.
Thank you.
I want to thank you all also for the amount of work you all have done. Teaching us, continue to teach us and educate us. People have done the whole question. And also ensure that we can address how to navigate going through the process. So, good, eventually good, like, good day. I also...
Caller, you're a little low. Okay, all right, that's better.
You get me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Also, we are happy, especially the elders. We are happy we have a prestige card. But I believe that the Jollies and the other pharmacies should at least give the elders a little reduction in the price because they had more sick and everyone. That's my own idea. Okay? And also that I want to find out really, if I find out, I want to find out really, there are some, when you watch the internet, you have so many people telling you about what to do, what to do, what to do, and so on. And so much information about different things. This one good for heart, this one good for diabetes especially, and pressure. I personally believe that the pharmacies and the doctors should come out and begin to talk to, especially we have a senior group now, which is Dominica, and begin to talk and give advice on some of the things they're doing. Not that I'm getting so bad, but the idea about there are too many little information for the China. One more thing, I want to say hello to Mistress. Look approval. I want to say season good news to you, and wish you all best in the future. My name is Hunter. I was happy that she spoke about the learning process of different people, because sometimes even in religion, you go into either you move from a Catholic church and you go to another church and so on, and they tend to believe, boy, because you come to that church, you're on the road doing something, and immediately you can stop. It's going to be a gradual process. You can be a full time to them because you just come, and the person might be drinking wrong, and you won't tell the person, stop drinking wrong. It's a gradual process. You speak to the person, counseling not done to the person. And it can't be a situation whereby you just come and just decide you can just stop it one time. So as you said earlier on, if you go into a church or you go somewhere, it must be a gradual process. And the person learning, you tell the person, just like I have a situation, I forget the situation. The reading of let's say you have blood sugar, blood pressure. You have a thing where you have, perhaps the limit 130 to 180 based on the age. Or they will tell you, some of the doctors or whoever tell you, keep on taking your tablets. Keep on taking your tablets. Is that all right? I mean, can you believe that is all right sometimes? And keep on taking every day, take a tablet. While you're the experts on the doctor and so on, I respect you do the thing. So, but is that a good thing to be taking and just taking tablets and your pressure looking within the range, and so on. So, again, I want to thank Joyce and wish them success in the future. And thank you, Mrs. Rivo. Glad to hear your voice. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, caller. So, yes, Jacinta.
So, I know many patients have this concern with the continuous consumption of tablets, especially if their numbers are within normal range. And that's why we like to categorize those tablets as maintenance meds. So they help to maintain normal normal blood sugar levels, normal blood pressure levels, cholesterol levels with proper nutrition and exercise. Because what happens, for example, let's say someone has stopped taking their blood pressure medication, and their diet is not so bad, their physical activity is also there, and unfortunately they get some bad news or something in their life sorry, causes the blood pressure to spike, unexpectedly, very suddenly, then this blood pressure can take a while to be regulated again. And so if they were consistently on their blood pressure medication, which helps their body to continuously help the blood pressure levels to be within normal range, then at that moment or stressful moment in their lives, at least, their blood pressure will not spike up as much. So it's not that we just want to have you on blood pressure medications or sugar medications consistently without any benefit, but it's just to help the body regulate. And as we get older, like we've been discussing today, our numbers at age 40 would not be the same at age 20. Our lifestyle changes, our expectancies change, our demands change, responsibilities change, our diet, exercise levels change, our metabolic rate changes, the way our food is broken down changes, our digestive system changes. So this is why we need the additional help with medications or supplements to go alongside other healthy choices so that everything works together to maintain our health status.
Yeah, and just to help on what you were saying there, and even people of my age, when you're younger, yes, you probably have to exercise at 5:30 in the morning or at 5:30 in the afternoon or 7 o'clock. But people at my age, you don't have to get up early in the morning and say, I'm going to exercise. You exercise at a time of day that is okay for you, because exercise to the body is like brushing your teeth. A day is not going to go without you brush your teeth. Maybe you brush your teeth sometimes 3 times, 4 times in a day.
Right.
And that's the same way. And you don't have to do all the exercise. If you want to do a 30 minutes, you can do 10 minutes before your breakfast, 10 minutes after your breakfast, and another 10 minutes in the
You can
afternoon.
split it up.
Because that also helps with the maintenance, the medication and the exercise really.
You're right. Because what can happen, and we've seen it happen already, is let's say a patient was on 3 different types of blood pressure medication or diabetes medication, and with a regular evaluation, the doctor realizes, okay, so far
They
you've
can
been
cut
doing
down.
right. So your dose can reduce, the number of medications can reduce, and with consistent, determination and compliance and compliance, like I just said, your medication regimen can be altered. So I would not advise you to just eliminate your medications on your own. Having an open and honest discussion with your physician and healthcare provider, can tailor your medication accordingly. But for the most part, we are asking you to take your medications as prescribed. If you do have any concerns, then please bring it up without just, stopping your medication on your own. Yeah.
So let's take another call. Okay. Yes, caller, good morning.
Hello, morning, Trudy. Morning, Mrs. Prevo. And morning,
Jacinta.
Jacinta. I
How are
love,
you?
nutrition self is my bag. I'm glad you came in that. What I wanted to say, I love when Mrs. Prevo said, remember when you go into a party preparation for a party, talking about it. When you say, I'm going to a party or any function, I eat in first, truly. I'm not going on an empty stomach, I'm eating. But because I say I don't want to when I go there, food is late. You know what I mean? So by the time you start to share things, my stomach is feeling on give me that. I eat one sandwich, I eat one chicken. By the time you pass it more, I cannot take any more truly because I came with my stomach. Feel the way you understand what I'm
I
saying?
understand.
So it makes you eat less. Another suggestion I want to make here, I don't know, it's just a suggestion. With Jolie, probably, and the company Jolie, if you can throw that out to them and say, Mrs. Prevo, every Wednesday when you come on your program, probably, because everybody interested in nutrition, she could give you all, work with Jolie, if they give you like something, a stipend or whatever, I'm just talking. So she would come like the Wednesday program, like every week, she would give you something, like a Monday, that's what she, you know what I mean? Like a Tuesday, that, take that, Wednesday, Tuesday, breakfast that, lunch that. So she did that to you for a week. You understand, Trudy? So that would help us. So like Monday is good some taking 2 slices of bread. You see where I'm going with that?
Okay.
I don't know if it works. It's just a suggestion.
Okay.
I'm doing that. Oh, could work if a nutritionist, Mrs. Prevo, is there, and she just gives you a menu. Every week she just gives you a menu from Monday to Saturday or Friday, or she want to put. Just a suggestion. Thank you. But any nice program, right?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So
Something that we
yes,
can
so several suggestions
speak
coming
about.
here. For Jollies. So we will see. There was also the previous caller suggested as it relates to an elderly discount card instead of just the
Yes.
prestige card. Now we get in a suggestion for weekly nutritional advice. Yes, on the Jollies program. So we record these suggestions. But Mrs. Prevo, it's we're approaching the end of the show. Our time has been running by as per usual. But I think the last thing that I wanted to get from you, of course, we have discussed young, we've discussed the middle age, the elderly. And you were kind of going into that as it related to exercise that the elderly could do because you retired at this time, you're home. But in terms of nutrition, any key considerations for that group?
Okay. I'm in that group. So in any case, I always tell people, number one, please make yourself happy. That's the first thing. And but please, I know food makes people happy. So the foods that make you happy, watch them. Because I know that we usually say my group, well, I can have that and I can have that, but still, even though you like fried plantains, that doesn't mean you have to eat. You have to fry free plantains to eat.
Right.
So just watch it. If you have a chronic disease, as Jacinta said, take your medication, watch your diet, do your exercise. Because it doesn't make any sense that you don't take your medication or you don't take exercise, or you say, I'm not worried if my diet. So you have to do that as an elderly person. Okay. If you have to be very, again, open with your doctor and your pharmacist, to know, can I have that? Can I not have that? Even with taking medications, there may be some medications that you are allergic to.
Right.
Probably if it's a person take it at 40 years and something happened, they can rush them to the hospital and okay. But if you are an elderly, you might not survive. So always know if you're on a medication, what you're taking medication for. I know every time I take a medication and I'm not sure of the medication, Jolly's can tell you, I will call and say, that was pink before. Even though I'm reading it, tell me. You have to be very, you have to know, you have to watch your diet. Please make sure breakfast, for everybody, not the elderly alone, breakfast is your first meal and your main meal. I know people on the what's that thing? I can't get it now.
Intermittent
fasting. And so that's, the young people may try it. That's not for us unless you have some medical problem and your doctor says don't take your breakfast. Make sure you have your breakfast. Your breakfast doesn't have to be anything big. It could be 2 slices of bread with an egg or with some cheese, but always put a little bit of vegetables, whether it's cucumber in that, or a bowl of porridge on another day, You can have, what are you going to have for breakfast? You can have the same fried plantains if you want to have bread, but not every day. Pear, but not every day.
Right.
Your lunch, make sure you have your protein, not a lot, but enough protein. I know Marlene don't like fish, but fish is a good buy. Make sure you have your fish or your meat or whatever you like. Some of us like pork. If you like things like pork, make sure it's not fatty. Make sure you have your carbs. If you're diabetic, I will tell you, try to stay away from rice, because rice tends to bring up your blood sugar. So go with your local ground provision, 3 slices with your food and your vegetables. Peas and beans, if you can have it every day, fine. If you can, and again, you can cook your peas and beans, because I keep telling people, refrigerators were not just made for water. That's why they were made, is to put things into. Right? So you can cook it could be red beans. You can cook it on a Sunday, separate it, and you have it every day. But please, at my age, make sure you try to eat a little peas and beans every day, your provision, your vegetables, your fruits, as much as you can get your fruits. If your doctor puts you on a vitamin, take it. Or if you figure you need it, please, if you're on medication, don't just pick it up from Jolly's. Take the vitamin from the shelf, go to one of the pharmacies, say, I am on XYZ, can I have that? Yes. Because you may be hurting yourself too. Okay? So we can do all those things as elderly. And please, remember, I tell you, please exercise. And for the elderly and for the young, you don't have to go anywhere to exercise. I've always told people, all from my working life, if you can put one foot in front of the other foot at your home, you can do that for at least, you start at 10 minutes until you get to 40 minutes or an hour. Okay? And do what you have to do. Don't be ashamed. I know some elderly people tell me they don't want to exercise because they don't want to walk in the streets. Well, where I live, people going to work, they all see me exercising, so what? But some people say, I can't do that, I can't walk in the street. So make sure you exercise. You don't have to do it in the early morning, anytime for yourself, okay? But remember, for us, it's the foods that we like, that we tend to indulge with. And for some people, you may be diabetic, you cannot have a lot of it. Or you may, like Marlene, like the sausage, and you're hypertensive, you cannot have 2 sausages every day. The hot dog sausage? Every hot dog sausage has about half a teaspoon. So take a teaspoon of salt or more in it. So anyone have a teaspoon by a measuring spoon, just see how much salt you're taking in with every hot dog sausage.
Extremely salty. Yes. And the interesting thing is, people boil it and some of the salt is removed. But some people eat it directly, like on the grill, like you put the sausages directly on the grill, no parboiling or anything. So the full quantity of salt that's in
about a half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of salt.
And people like those barbecue sausages, people eat 4 or 5. At the same time, I've seen that the sausage is on a stick.
For us, if your cholesterol is high, then watch your fat intake,
Okay, unfortunately, we are over time and we have to wrap up. I see our lines are still going. But before we are kicked out of the studios at Q95, we need to wrap up the program. Mrs. Priva, I want to thank you so much for joining us here and, sharing some invaluable advice with our listeners. I know this is a topic that people are very invested in and questions continue to come. And so, hopefully it's something we can revisit as the year goes along and continue to have these sort of discussions. But I really appreciated your presence, your expertise, and how you put things in a very down to earth manner. So now I won't forget the matchstick box size as it relates to the width of that provision slice. So those more so dashing and those more so yam, Now we have something to measure by. So thank you so much. And we are signing out here from the program. God willing, we'll be back next week with you for another Health Vibes program for the men. If you are, a lot of our listeners are women, but the men, the program next week is specifically for you. Right. So if you are listening and you want to mark that in your calendar, men, because we have a men's health program next week coming up for you. So until next time, Justin first signing out from Health Vibes.
Signing out. Have a blessed day to everyone.
Yes, and do have a good week. We will be back next week. Take care.
Take care.
Jolly's Pharmacy is bringing vibes to health with Health Vibes. Health Vibes. Each and every Wednesday from 10